Here. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Southern Edge podcast transmission. And my name is Eric Dupont, and I am your host today. And I have Cornelius Wilson Brown III with us today. Cornelius, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, Eric. Thank you for having me again, man. I'm doing real well.
Absolutely. Thank you for carving a little bit of your time to come and join us. And it was wonderful. Long time no see since this morning in the trading room.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a wonderful time we had.
It sure is. Every day is a new adventure, and every day is payday, and
That's right.
sometimes it's better than others, and it always works in our favor. So
No doubt about it.
good
No
to
doubt.
have you here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So 9 to 5, what do you have to say, Cornelius? 9 to 5. That's the life of many people, and including yours truly for many, many years, and I'm sure for yourself as well. But there are other alternatives. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I think one of the things that people fail to realize is that what Warren Buffett said was true, and that is, if your paycheck is your only source of income, you're one step away from poverty. And I think that that is the reason that people, rely on 9 to 5 jobs is because they just don't know any better. Because anybody who could hear a statement like that and still only try to operate off of one source, that means they're not really smart. And I refuse to believe that everybody who has a 9 to 5 job are people who are not smart. I don't think that there's some things that just haven't been exposed to them, because of the way our economic system is set up on the federal level, which trickles down to the state level, meaning that you're not taught how to build wealth. You're not encouraged to build wealth. You're not motivated to build wealth. Those things have to come outside of the purview of formal education. And I think that, that is the reason that many people, they really believe that that is the goal, to go to school, to get good grades, to get a good job, and to move up on that job in terms of upward mobility. They think that that is actually what you're supposed to be doing, when it's actually antithetical to what you're supposed to be doing. For me, especially as a Christian and as a believer, because I'm supposed to be free. He who has the Son is free indeed. And free means free spiritually, mentally, physically, as well as emotionally and financially. And see, people don't have a problem with you becoming free in those other areas, but it's only when you start moving into that area of being financially free that people start kind of opening up their eyes and thinking and looking at you as if you are outside of the norm, and you're an alien. And you can test it out. And people say hello to you, you say, well, they say, how you doing? You say, well, I'm doing all right. Okay, that's normal. But if you say, hey, listen, I'm doing very, very well. I'm making so much money, I can't even count it. I have to hire 4 people to count it, and I'm trying to give it away, and can't nobody, I got too much, I can't even give away. Now you'll look crazy. People will look at you as if something is wrong, when actually that is supposed to be how you live. You're supposed to have enough for you, enough for yourself, enough to save, and enough to give. That is how life is supposed to work.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree anymore. Um, for those of you folks who do not know Cornelius Wilson Brown, I will refer you to a couple of previous podcasts we did. So we speak extensively about his life and what Cornelius is about. And just a brief summary, Cornelius, you are a master futures trader. You've traded for over 25 years and very successfully, might I add. You're the author of several books. You're also a pastor and a professor. Correct me if I'm wrong with all that. Mhm. So Cornelius comes with a wealth of experience, and not just knowledge, but also lived experience. And that's what he's sharing with us every morning in the trading room. So for those of you just joining in or joining perhaps later in a replay or whatnot, Cornelius has started the Solomon Trading University many years ago, and he's operating a trading room every morning. So this is not financial advice, neither from me nor from Cornelius. That would be not only highly illegal, but not the way to go. But Cornelius shares basically his personal experience with all of us. His knowledge of the markets, the manipulation that occurs in the market, and also utilizes the market as a tool to an end, which is financial freedom. You just mentioned it at length just a moment ago. Everybody was born with the same potential to be free, to be
Mhm.
free mentally, spiritually, financially. And that's where you come in, Cornelius, with the financial aspect. Uh,
Correct.
Many have heard of the markets. Some of you may already be trading more or less successfully, some very successfully. Regardless, the market is there for everyone. Now, would you agree, Cornelius, that the market, while available to everyone, is still kind of a little bit voodoo for many people, and not everybody will resonate with it? Now, everybody needs it. We all know that, but not everybody will necessarily do what it takes to actually learn and become successful in the market. Hence, would you agree in the statistics about 97% of people entering the market fail? But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the 3%. That's
Mhm.
what you're doing day in and day out. So,
Mhm.
for those listening to this transmission, how would they go about learning more, perhaps experiencing some of it, and even perhaps joining and learning how to have the market work for them and really create financial freedom?
hmm Well, one of the ways is that they could text the number 919-324-5301 and make a connection with you, and then you then can connect them to me. And then I can answer any questions about it that they may have. And I think one of the things that you mentioned is so true is that everybody does not have a desire or a hunger to be wealthy. Only people that have a desire and a hunger to be wealthy are people who actually have, in my opinion, a purpose in life. So if I'm never going to fly, if I'm never going to go overseas, I have no need for a jumbo jet. I'm not going overseas. And if you don't have dreams and you don't have passions and things that you want to do, in terms of maybe starting businesses, in terms of starting nonprofit organizations, or giving to your church, or developing or creating a trust fund for your children's children. If you don't have vision, then this may be something that you don't that doesn't resonate with you, because you can actually work a job, 9 to 5 job, and have a nice life and have 2 15-minute breaks, an hour lunch. You can have 2 or 3 days off out of the year. You can have a week paid vacation, and that's fine for you. And you can drive a car and pay for it with time, and that doesn't bother you. But for those people who want to be free, because they have something actually to do, then this is definitely the way you have to do it, because you cannot do it from a low level of value add to the market. So when you are a 9 to 5 worker, you are giving the market the lowest level of value. Now you are giving the market value, but it's at its lowest level. So if you look at a hotel, if you go to a hotel, the hardest working people in the hotel are the people who are keeping the housekeepers, who are keeping the hotel. But
Mhm.
they are also the lowest paid people in the hotel, even though they're the hardest working. So there's this misnomer that if you really work hard, you'll be able to forge out a living. That's not true. You have to be working hard at something that gives value. And then so the next level of value is when you become a person who manages other people. So now you're not only just getting paid off of your hours that you're spending at the company or at the job, you're getting paid off of the hours of the other people that you're managing. So you're leveraging them. Well, you still won't become wealthy doing that. You can have a nice 6-figure life, but you won't become wealthy. Number one, you won't become wealthy because you won't make enough money to become wealthy. You'll still have to get credit cards, and still in this economy, the way it is now, you'll still have to borrow money, and you won't get wealthy also because you're going to have to spend so much time. Oftentimes, when you move into managerial roles, you spend more time than you did when you were at the lowest level of being an implementer, and you don't get paid for that, because now since you're a manager, you're not getting paid paid overtime, you're getting paid a salary. But then you can move up to be, to the next level where you kind of communicate to people ideas and sell real estate and become a salesperson. You can make a lot of money doing that, but you're going to work a whole lot of hours. Or you can come up to the level that I've done. Being an inventor. I invented a software. I'm author of a book. Things of that nature. But there's still a lot of hard work and a lot of man hours. But where you and I operate, Eric, is at the level of the speculator, which is we're giving the highest value to the market, which is liquidity. Because in any business, the only way to make it, you have to have liquidity, because you have to be able to outlast the market shifts. You have to be able to outlast the business shifts, the industry shifts. You have to be able to outlast things like COVID or things like things that just come up. You have to be able to outlast all of these different policy shifts, politics shifts, geopolitical shifts. All kind, just like a tariff. You had a business, you would, the trucks that I have running over the road. Okay, we ran into some problems because of the tariffs, and we were taking steel, and so now there's a 25% tariff on it. Okay, so that changed some of the routes and things of that nature. But because we do what we do, we don't care about any of those shifts, Eric, because we
Exactly.
know if the market is up, if the market is down, if the market is sideways, if this president is in office, if that president is in office. So I think that if you really want to get to the place where you're making real money, you have to add more value to the market, and there is no greater value that you can add to any marketplace than money. That's the greatest, and those persons are the richest people in the world, and that's why we're in a position we're in. So
Absolutely. And I love what you just mentioned. Before we get into the nitty gritty of trading and some of the lingo that you just kind of touch upon a little bit, would you agree that the market is a great amplifier of character? And the reason I'm saying that is because uh, you and I both know that we were meant to be wealthy in this lifetime, because the more wealth we acquire, not for the sake of health, wealth itself, the more impact we can have on the world. In other words, if you have fire in the belly and if you have a dream, whether the dream is this big or this big, having the money behind it allows to actually carry out that dream and have a greater impact on society in general, not just ourselves and the legacy we leave to our families, but for the world at large. So, would you agree with that statement that the market, through the giving of money to those who partake in it, is actually a great amplifier of character? If you have a dream, it's going to amplify it. If you don't
absolutely,
have a dream, you just simply not partake in it. So,
absolutely,
very,
absolutely. Yeah, what you said is so true. If you really look at it, the purpose of companies, the development or the creation of companies is to serve. Like that was the number one area. So, okay, so the founding fathers and the original pioneers, they came over and said, okay, well, I'll make wood, I'll cut down wood and create chairs because you need them. Okay, you go over and dig holes because we need those, and you because we need water to wells, and then we're gonna create irrigation systems and all that. And so basically, companies are designed to serve. So if the companies are designed to serve, then you get paid for service. Well, what we do is we help the companies that are designed to serve by creating liquidity for them.
mhm.
And that is the amplifier of character, because character is who you are when no one is looking. You cannot be a good trader if you're not following rules that nobody's going to hold you accountable to but you.
Mhm.
So the more successful you are in trading, that's an amplifier of your character. You must have good character because you must be following the rules in terms of what windows we trade. You must be following the rules in terms of holding yourself accountable by keeping a journal. You must be following the rules because you're disciplined, and nobody can discipline an adult but yourself. So you're absolutely right, because you cannot be successful without having good character, which means being able to hold yourself accountable and do what you know you should do, when you should do it, how you should do it every single time. And I always talk about the market will work on you before it actually works for you. See, because the market is going to work on your character, it's going to work on your integrity, it's going to work on your discipline. Then once you become a better person, it's amazing how this works. Once you become a better person, it's going to work on your anger management. You have to be a good person to be a good trader. And maybe that's why 97% of the people can't do it, because they aren't good people.
And that's what I love about it and about you, Cornelius, because I have learned a lot and I'm still learning a lot. And I know you must be shaking your head sometime. Is like what Eric is doing now. And it's all part of it. And I
Mhm.
appreciate the path that you have walked in your life in the market to bring this over to us and your patience with us. Because would you agree we're all different? I don't know how many people are joining us in the trading room every morning,
Mhm.
many more who are not partaking in the trading room in the morning, but we're all different. We have different characters, we have different personalities, different walks of life, different life experience. Yet, when we come to meeting the market face to face, the
Mhm.
market does not know or care whether Cornelius or Eric is in front of the computer screen. It doesn't know. However, we partake because it is the energy of all of the traders worldwide that makes the market. Obviously, there's also the market makers who we may touch on that a bit later, manipulate the market in some way, shape, or form. But in the end, it's always us, and the market is a mirror to who we are. So if we have shortcomings, the market is going to amplify it. If we are patient, if we are disciplined, if we are consistent, the market will reflect that to us also. And
Mhm.
I can raise my hand and vouch for it. I mean, I've made many mistakes, still make a lot of mistakes. I have blown accounts and I've been successful also, despite all of that, in making money day in and day out. And I would say thanks to you because you walked the path and you shared with us, and we're all learning. So we're in the process of becoming, and some days are harder than others. But overall, and that's what amazes me day in and day out.
Mhm.
Despite I feel this year has been a tough year, somewhat. A lot of low volume, low volatility, or a lot of manipulation, a lot of announcement, sometimes for weeks in a row, and
Mhm.
yet we're still making money day in and day out. Not
Correct.
by chance, but because we are following a script, should I say, or a process,
Mhm.
doing the same thing over and over again, putting the odds in our favor. Uh, Let me remind everybody here, this is not a gambling system. This is not a get rich quick scheme, but it is something where if you put in the time and the effort and the consistency, it has to work for you mathematically. And it does, and we see that every day.
Mhm.
Anything you would like to add to that, or maybe that you see differently that you would like to kind of tweak from your perspective?
Oh no, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, that was excellent. That was spot on.
And something I want to mention also, because you and I are very different in the way we approach the market. Now, I consider you the master trader. I have so much to learn from you, and I keep on learning, and so do all the people who join in the morning. But my goal has never been to be a Cornelius Jr. My goal has to be an Eric, sovereign in trading his own way, which doesn't mean that there is no desire to be teachable and coachable, because obviously there is a basis that we all need to learn. You speak of technical analysis,
Mhm.
reading the charts, knowing where the market is going to go or should
Mhm.
go. I mean, there's no absolute ever, but at
Right.
least knowing that the potential for the market to go in one direction or another is extremely high. That's putting the odd in our favor,
Right.
in the favor of the house, if you will. So despite all of that, there is some leeway for all of us to express our own personality, our own tolerance for risk, our own tolerance for, um, I'm going to call it loss, because let's not escape this, let's not skirt around it. Loss is a part of trading. Would you agree? In order to be a good trader, you need to be okay with losing some trades. knowing full well that most of the trades we take will be winning trades. And when we do win, we win bigger than we lose. Would you agree with that, Cornelius?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. What I discovered was, and I love Sun Tzu and I love the
Yes.
art of war. My father was a soldier, and he fought in the war. So I grew up hearing war stories. So once I read that book, see, it all makes sense to me. In the market, to me, I'm going to war with the market and with the other participants in the market. And so I just adopted Sun Tzu's philosophy that if your enemy is superior to you, then you just flee. Now we know in life that sometimes an inferior can be the superior. Well, those of us who ascribe to scripture, we know David defeated Goliath, right?
Mhm.
An inferior defeated a superior. But you know, when you balance and average it out, that doesn't always happen. And so I've chosen to only take opportunities that I feel that I am in the superior position. And that causes me to be a little bit conservative, because we are battling people who have billions of dollars at their disposal, and it's not even their money. So they're unemotional about it. They're being paid a fee, regardless of whether or not they perform or not. We don't get paid unless we perform. So therefore, I have to perform at an apex or a high level in order to get paid. And that is that's why I choose to operate and to trade the way that I trade, which is trying to make 3% a day, which is basically turning $3,000 into $1 million every single year. So in the beginning of the year, I just start over with another $3,000, and boom, make a million, start over, make a million, start over, because I have plans for my million that I can do, in the real estate arena, because there's a saying that the market makes millionaires, but real estate makes billionaires. You see, I can make way more money, and I'm making a lot of money, and you're making a lot of money in the market. But man, that doesn't even compare. That if you take this $1 million and convert it, oh, now you're going to another level. You're going to another level, because now you have an asset that you're getting money from just because you have it, just because you have it, without doing anything. See, we still have to come to the market and perform. But if you continue to transfer and convert that money, oh man, you're gonna get to the point where, even though this is very, very lucrative, you don't have to do it anymore.
So, if I'm hearing correctly, and that's from my own experience, but of course, learning from you as well, what you're really about is looking at the market as a tool in the bag of tools that you have available to you as part of the wealth creation program. So, the market is not the end all be all, but it
No,
is just one tool to generate some income that can now be used, parceled out among different type of investment to create a
well,
diversity of wealth. Is
yes.
that what I'm hearing?
Yes, the market to me is an accelerant. And if you've ever built a fire, you know you need an accelerant. And the accelerant is very small, a little small block of wood. It's very small, but when you light it, it creates a fire that grows out of control. The market to me, that's all it is.
Mhm.
So therefore, I'm not trying to make the market the wood for the fire. I need the market to help me light the wood. So therefore, I'm very satisfied with 3% a day. Very satisfied, overjoyed with it. Now, if the only thing I was doing was trading, I'm maybe not so.
Right.
But that's not the case. You see what I'm sharing with you? So if you can take $1 million and make $1 million a year, and you do that 2 or 3 years, by the fifth year, you made $5 million, but the 4 million from the years before has made 50 million.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So that is what we do. So I seek to help people become wealthy,
Mhm.
not just rich.
Very good, very good. I think that's clear for the audience. And that was a great analogy, by the way, about the firewood and the accelerator.
That's right.
Perfect analogy. You mentioned something about Sun Tzu in the Art of War, which
That's right.
I read. I've read it actually before you mentioned it, and I'm revisiting it now because there's always great nuggets
Oh
to
yeah.
be gleaned, of course. And we might be a little bit different, but I think we kind of converge there. It's just a different way of expressing the same thing. You call it, if I recall correctly, you just mentioned when you go into the market, you go into battle. And I can understand why you would say something like that, because you need to have strategy. And you're right, you have market makers who are manipulators. And so it's kind of a war. But the way I look at it a little bit more is like Aikido diplomacy a little bit. You know, as in a martial art in Aikido, it's about taking the opponent's blow in the movement and just redirect it. So it's not so much that you're slaying dragons and fighting a war, but it's more whatever is coming at you, you just flowing with it. You kind of take it and redirect it in a way that is beneficial to you. Would
Hmm.
you say that maybe different from your way of looking at it, but it's a similar perspective where the market is what it is. You can't make it do anything it won't do. It will give you what it'll give you, but you learn how to move with it. And instead of bucking the current, you move along with the market manipulators so that you do not get manipulated yourself in the process. Is that an accurate way to depict it?
It is. That's exactly, what I do. And my only thing with different approaches, and I understand that people have different financial pressures and different mindsets and emotional drivers and different levels of discipline and different learning styles and different understandings and sometimes ego, and identity and different goals. But the bottom line is that the different ways that people try hasn't been proven.
Uh-huh.
You think it will work, but it hasn't been proven because it has never worked. Because if it had ever worked, then you wouldn't be in the trade room with me if what you knew or what Sally or Jane or John. That's my only thing. I'm not trying to make, like you mentioned, Junior Cornelius's, but what I know makes $1 million. A
Absolutely.
fact. You see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
that's my, that's kind of my tug of war in a way of looking at it in another way. Like the way I look at it as war, the way I look at war is that when your enemy is superior to you, you stop, you quit, you get
Mhm.
out of the way, you wait until tomorrow, you go back to the barracks, you get back on the phone with people, the general and in the Pentagon, and you create another strategy because they blew up the tank, they blew up the ship, you can't that way will not work. I know you just want to just go in there like Napoleon, but you hadn't looked at the weather and now you're frozen over and you're stuck. You like that, your ego and your that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
No,
So
no, you're right, and I mean I've experienced that many times. I mean, this morning, what was a great example. I mean, I knew based on the volume with a holiday tomorrow, and knowing that the market was ranging between two
mhm,
different
fixed resistances and supports.
support and resistance. Um, I knew that it was a possible risky proposition, and so I was happy to take the first two trades and call it a day and just take the
Mhm.
next one in the simulator mode.
That's right.
For example, in other words, you love to say that every day, and I know it's true. I've experienced it. The market will be open tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, it's a holiday, but
Yeah.
every other day. So even if it was not the full expected target today, well,
Mhm.
there's tomorrow to make that up.
That's right.
So very good. Now, without beating around the bush and simply to kind of give the audience who may be interested, who may resonate with what you're offering, with the possibility of creating genuine wealth in the market, what does a typical trading day looks like for you? And then I can speak for myself, for all of us joining you in the trading room. So what's a typical day?
Well, wake up, take my daughter to school, get to my computer about 8:10. Look at the London session, look at the Asian session. 8:30, 8:35 ish. Try to be in my first position and make the 3% by 8:45, 9 o'clock. I'm done. But because I'm providing a service to others, I stay on a little longer. But a typical trading day for me would be over about 9 o'clock, 9:15. So 30, 45 minutes. And then I would be free to go, you know, spend my time, elsewhere doing different things, some business things, some family things. Like one of the things that I love about this is I never miss programs at the school with my kids. I never miss practices. I never miss games. Um, so I'm able to live. And to me, that is what wealth is. Wealth is when you're able to make enough money to not spend so much time trying to make said money.
Right.
So time is a part of wealth. Of course, assets, but time is just as important as the big house, the big car, the boat, the plane. Time, because if you have all that stuff, but you don't have the time, well, you still can't use it. The plane is stuck in the hangar. The boat is still at the dock. Like you have it, but you can't. And that's what most people are doing.
Absolutely. And the reason I'm asking the question is because obviously you do other things other than the market. You have your family, but you're also an entrepreneur, not necessarily because you need it at this point, but because you love it, and because you're providing value, and you're making an impact on the world. So for people who may not have reached yet, I'm going to say yet, that stage, and who may have a 9 to 5 job, what I'm hearing is it is very possible, while still having a job, to carve out a little bit of time in the morning to actually set yourself up for success, so that the option now exists to maybe leave your 9 to 5 job after you become successful in the market. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. People do it all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
Very
do it
good.
all the time. Yeah.
Very
Mhm.
good.
That's
So
exactly what they do.
obviously, there may be people watching us right now who some may be extremely successful in the market. Likely, they're not watching this podcast. I would imagine they're just too busy just doing what they do and are successful with. And then you may have people who may have heard of the market but don't know much, if anything, other than the name, the market. And then you have people who know about it, would like to partake, but just don't know how to do it. And
Mhm.
that's where you come in, right, Cornelius? That's where you
Right.
kind of bridge the gap between, hey, stuck in the 9 to 5, or even something. You could be an entrepreneur, mildly successful, or even successful, but you don't have the luxury of time, as you mentioned, and you would like to regain that, and you'd like to learn how to trade the market so that you can regain not only the wealth but the time factor as well. So, how would someone go from I'm interested, I know there's something in there, I'd like to learn more, and how do I learn? How do I join a trading room? And what is the path going to look like, at least the beginning of it?
You would first of all, of course, get in touch with Eric and get in touch with me. At that
Mhm.
point, I would answer any questions that you may have. But the bottom line is, if you have a computer and Wi-Fi connection, then you would actually enter into a pedagogical process, meaning that you will come to a school and you will learn some things that you don't know, and we call that the show phase. We're going to show you what you don't know about the computer, show you what you don't know about, and this is real simple, the mouse, show you what you don't know about the configurations, about the cameras. Then once we show you, then now it's time to now move further, and then we're going to help you know some things about trading, know some things about manipulation, know some things about markets, how they work. Then we're going to move you to the growth phase. That's where you'll come into a management lab. And Eric is one of the facilitators in the management lab. And there you will actually hands-on have an opportunity to put your hands on without risking real money. Once you get through that growth phase, now you're ready to come into the trade room. I would say this will be 3 to 4 weeks out. Now, this isn't anything that you're going to be able to, come pay today and make money tomorrow. That's not that. So you have to go find something else. I don't have a get rich quick scheme. I do have a get rich slow scheme, meaning that you go through the show phase, the know phase, the grow phase, and then after about 4 or 5 weeks, now you're in the market and you're starting off incrementally small and make more money and make more money. Before you know it, the year is up and boom, you've made a lot of money. So that's kind of the way you would start. So you would come in and you would start at phase one, learning, and then practicing, and then performing.
I want to make a couple of comments because you mentioned this is not a get rich quick scheme, and I would totally agree with that. But you mentioned it's a grow slow scheme.
Yeah.
And, to put things in perspective a little bit, because to me, and I've been in a job 9 to 5, I've pulled 30 years, in a job myself. And to me, that is the epitome of a grow slow scheme. First
Yeah.
of all, we're not talking about a scheme, we're talking about a process, because it's something totally above board. It's something that it's a process that you carry on, but it's not that slow, is it? I mean,
Oh no,
the year is not exactly slow in a
no.
grand scheme of a life, correct?
No, not at all. Not
Mm.
at all. I mean, when you think about what the bank gives you in a year, and we have bankers that's a part of our group. Matter of fact, I'm partnering with banks, because we go out into the community and they provide financial literacy and I provide money market literacy, and we partner together to explain. And the bankers themselves tell the people outwardly, "Hey, listen, you can get CDs and mutual funds and things of that nature. But if you want to become wealthy, you need to listen to the next speaker who's about to come up, because I'm going to teach you and tell you how to get wealthy. And how you become wealthy is you have to have enough money that 50% of all the money you have takes care of all of your needs, because the other 50% you need to be able to diversify that money and put them in assets that are going to bring you money."
Right.
So that, and that's the goal. So to put yourself in a position that in a year, give or take a couple of months in a year, because different people have different learning styles, different understandings, different disciplines,
Mhm.
because some people are very disciplined already. And I noticed that those people, for example, you notice a girl in the room, her name is Shanna.
Mm.
I know that,
Yes.
yeah, Shanna hasn't been with us but 3 months, and she's already about to pass her evaluation, and talking about moving to cash now.
Right.
Why? That means that's a person who was already used to, for lack of a better word, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, taking orders. She was used to that, right?
Mhm.
And it was no problem. Discipline. Russell, who is the other facilitator, he's
Yes.
an Army guy. Okay, so he was used to taking orders. So he was able to become successful because he didn't have well, what are you telling me to do? That's what I'm going to do. Boom. You see? So therefore, those persons, you know, um, become successful a little bit faster. And my thing is that become successful this way. And then when you have $1 million, then now you can try stuff that it won't hurt you. It
Mhm.
won't hurt you at all. You know what I mean? So, that those are the things that people, when they come in, that's the difference between how fast someone gets there. But in a year, that's no time to come into a situation and an environment, put yourself in position to be financially free in a year. I- you know, like all of my business partners, that like, where can you do that at? Nowhere, you know,
Absolutely. Mhm.
nowhere outside of the market.
Absolutely. Uh, the more you talk, the more questions pop up
Oh
because
yeah.
I know from talking to other people also, some who are already trading with you, some who are not, that a lot of questions, especially from people who have never partaken in the market. So, what if I don't have money, or what if I don't have a lot of it? I know there are prop firms, there are those companies that will allow you for a fee to pass an evaluation, get an account. I also, I believe I know that it's you're not a big proponent of those for good reasons, but they do fit a little niche. I mean, there's a need for those, and they're a means to an end for a lot of people. So would you say that whether you have a lot of money or not as much as you would like, that you can still have access to the market and learn? Is that a fair statement?
It is. It is absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt. There are a lot of companies that will allow you, to use their risk capital for a fee.
Hmm.
That you prove that you actually know and you're actually proficient and you are a good trader, which you can learn from us. And then those companies will give you money, and then you take that money and you grow it, and then there's a profit split between themselves and you.
Very good.
So yeah, so
So,
we have a lot of students that do that. Matter of fact, I'm about to start interviewing them. Excuse me, next week. Those persons who use that. And of course, cash is always easier, but because it's quicker to you being able to touch the money. However, if you have a long range plan, it doesn't matter whether you use the prop firm or cash anyway, because you don't plan on touching the money for a year anyway. You
right,
know,
right.
so
But perhaps something that's easier when you have your own cash is that you don't have to play by the same rules, much stricter rule that those prop firms have because it's your own cash. So you master of your own destiny, right?
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's
Very
right.
good.
So you don't lose the advantage of trading your own cash is that you don't lose your positioning if you have a bad day or if you make a mistake. You know, um, like I've gone down in an account before 30%. Well, in a prop firm, they're not going to allow you to do that. But since your own money, I went down 30% and then came back up and got back to 40% in the green within 5 days. You see, so I got
Unheard of. Yeah,
right. So I got the money right back. And the way you do that is you just consistently do the same thing. And you have to believe in the process, believe in the process. And if you believe in the process, then you'll get the results. So when you make mistakes like I did, which was a charting mistake, when you make those mistakes, you can you can recapture your funds and still be in the same position financial. But if you make those mistakes with the prop firm, you have to kind of start the process over. That is the thing that I don't like about them.
right,
But
right.
they do give you an opportunity, and you say that niche. It gives anybody a chance to get up off of their back and pull themselves up and make it.
So we're right back where we started, which is basically the market is open to everyone. And whether you have money or no money, there's a possibility if there's a burning desire to be
Mhm.
successful with it. Would you agree with that?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I like that word burning because when I do keynote addresses, I talk about that desire. Because if you want to be financially free, it won't happen without that kind of desire.
Right.
Like that must be there because there's a learning curve that everybody must go around. Everybody, it doesn't matter who, Warren Buffett, everything, everybody must go around this learning curve. And if you don't desire to be financially free, when you get around the curve, you'll stop, you'll quit in the curve, and get out of the car and abandon it and walk off.
Absolutely. The market will definitely humble you. And unless you get back up and do it again, then you stop. So, and I don't believe that's an option for most people who are actually
Hmm.
interested in and driven
Hmm.
to be successful. So,
Correct. Yeah, correct.
all right. So you have the Wealth Accelerator program, which
Hmm.
is the main part of your teaching process to take somebody who has never traded or dabbled
Hmm.
into trading but hasn't made it successfully just yet
Hmm.
and is willing to be teachable and to learn. And you
Hmm.
take them not only to teach them how to be proficient in the market, but also what to do with those funds so that you can make the entire wheel work for you. You mentioned
Correct.
investment, ETFs, real estates, entrepreneurship, whatever it is, but to derive a percentage of what you're making in the market, allocate that to different asset classes or
Hmm.
investment classes, and let money make money for you while you
Correct.
sleep so that you're leveraging your time. Is
That's right.
that correct? Very
That's
good.
right.
But then
Correct.
you have also, and I want to mention that one because I was always somebody interested. I want the result, obviously. I mean, that's, I believe, why most of us do this. But there's also the desire to learn and to know how it works, why it works this way, and to learn more about it. So you offer a mastermind program, is that
That's
correct?
right. Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just flesh that out a little bit for us. The difference
Yeah.
between the two and how they complement one another.
Well, yeah, because there are some people who have a strategy where they need to get the money and then they're going to diversify, build up wealth through real estate and other opportunities, and then pass that down to their children. Then other people say, yeah, that's good. But what I want to pass down to my children, nieces, nephews, and people that I love is some knowledge that can't be taken away and that they will be able to become wealthy even if they lose the real estate, even if they lose the businesses, even if they, so that's another level. And for that, I have a mastermind program where I will teach you exactly everything that I know and how I look at the market, and you'll be able to learn exactly. Basically, I give you a pair of glasses that has the market already embedded in it the way I see it, and you'll be able to clearly see what I see. And then you'll be able to then become independent of me at some point.
Right, right. So the way I look at it, you have people who may be interested in getting results right off the bat,
Hmm.
and they can do that because you teach them the basics of what's necessary to be in a trading room.
Hmm.
And we're still accountable for ourselves. We still have to click the mouse. We're still responsible for our own actions.
Hmm.
So, in other words, if you don't enter at a time that you might enter a trade, you're
Hmm.
not giving financial advice. You're simply doing what you do day in and day out. So, if
Hmm.
people feel that it's a good opportunity, they may enter, they may not, they may delay. I mean, we're all responsible for ourselves. But in the end, following the process that you walk every day is what you're teaching. And
Hmm.
then it's up to us to decide, hey, I'm managing my account, I'm managing my trade, I'm responsible for myself. I enter into this with full knowledge,
Hmm.
and that's how it goes, right?
Hmm.
Now, for people who decide, okay, I like doing this and I'm learning a lot by doing it, but I would also like to up my game a little bit by kind of putting myself, not kind of, but really putting myself into the head of the market makers. What are they thinking? Why
Hmm.
is the market doing what it is doing at the moment?
Hmm.
What are the people thinking, and what are the market makers manipulating in order to achieve their goal, which obviously is completely opposite to ours? It's
Hmm.
for them to make money and take it away from us, and for us to know what they're doing so that we can go alongside and basically make money as well. So that's kind of the warring part that you mentioned earlier. That's the Aikido diplomacy that I mentioned, kind
Hmm.
of going with the flow and extracting out of the market what we can. Is that correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
good. So both paths are very valid. One complements the other, and
Hmm.
depending on where people are, where they joined, they can do one or the other or both. Is that correct?
Hmm. Correct.
Very good.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, and then people can even go to that next level as well if that's what they want to do. So
Yeah,
there's another level too where basically the two paths are different, but when you get to the second path where you actually want to learn, then now we have two or three levels of that depending on how fast you want to learn.
right.
So the mastermind is a year program.
Mhm.
If you want to learn in 6 months, there's another program, Upward Mobility. That means now, not only do you get the videos and get the Q&A, now you get a daily market recap where I would actually get on with you and say, hey, listen, this is how this day went, and let's go over it. From 8 to 8:30, this was happening. From 8:30 to 9, this was happening. From 9 to 9:30, this is what happened. From 9:30 to 10, this is happening. From 10 to 10:30, this, and from 10:30 to 11. And then at 1 to 2, they did this at 2. And I do that every single day with you. So that's basically 200 days of being able to have a market recap on everything that happened. Well, there's another level beyond that. I want to learn this thing in 3 months. Okay. Well, not only do you come into the trade room and take the trades, not only do you get the videos, not only do you get the Q&A with the videos, but not only do you get the market recap, but you actually get to trade with me. You actually get to see exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and actually see what I do as I'm making the calls. So that's another level, and that one will rapidly increase your understanding because you're actually seeing it done. Then I'm giving you a market recap while it's still hot and heavy and fresh on your mind at the same time. So it just depends on what people want to do and how they want to do it, how fast they want to do it. Each of those levels cost more because it costs me more time to do that. So.
Makes sense. So the analogy I would make is it's all a bit like either having a group lesson, having a private lesson,
Mhm.
or having a mentorship, and I would even say apprenticeship, where
Mhm.
somebody is walking the walk with you
I like that.
with your full attention. So, all right, that sounds good. Um, for those who may be interested, and again, this is not a marketing pitch. This is really a transmission. Is to see whether there is resonance with people, and there, the saying goes, that those people who will and those people who won't. So what?
Let me let me even speak to that. Like
Yeah.
what I have to offer is not even for everybody. Anything that's for everybody is really not for anybody. Because everybody's not going to buy the same color car. Everybody's not going to have the same square footage on the house. I'm not for everybody. I'm for the people who I'm for. And those people who I'm for, when they hear me and see me, they already know. There's some of you who are looking at this, you already know. Either you're going to text now or you're going to get money together, but you already know, hey, this is where and I know there are enough people. I'm intelligent enough to know that there are enough intelligent people out there who know exactly what they're looking for. See, people who want to do what we do, we know exactly what we're looking for. I think I spoke to you one time. I didn't
Mhm.
speak to you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You already knew what you were looking for. And once you heard it, you recognize it. Everybody who's in our group, it's over 238 people now who actually are part of our milieu, about 35 that are in the active day trading room. I didn't convince any of those people. I didn't have to convince any of them. So, let me just say that if you don't know and don't know, well, it's really probably not for you, because this is something you have to make a decision on. And I tell my children this all the time, that greatness is not a dream. Greatness is a decision. Becoming wealthy is not a dream. It's a decision.
Mhm.
Like, if you want to become wealthy, you have to be able to make a lot of money fast. The only way to do that is go to school, get advanced degrees, and become a doctor, be a lawyer, or something like that, or be a airplane pilot tomorrow. Or you can join a trade room, make 1 to 3% per day, and then in a year turn 3K into 1 million, and then boom, there you are. That's the quickest route. So it's
Yeah.
just basically up to that. And certainly people are intelligent enough to know that you and I will not be getting on a national platform making up stuff. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we do on a daily basis, you know.
Absolutely. And that's why I love that you give people the opportunity to come and watch the trading room for,
Absolutely.
correct me if I'm wrong, 3 days or a week or whatnot. So it's
Absolutely.
not just hearsay. I got two people talking on, on a
Oh,
podcast.
no.
No, it's like it's live people that you can interact with, ask question. You
Yeah.
can see them taking the trades. You can hear them. In I mean, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. So yeah, I think that's absolutely wonderful. The transparency of people being able to come and experience that for themselves. You said it. To me, it's all about resonance. I mean, we
Mhm.
know that we exist unless we talk about it, but it's not about spearfishing somebody into something.
No,
It's
no,
about,
no.
hey, do you need
No.
this? Do you want it?
Right.
Yes, great. If not, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. So I know you can come through me. Just text 919-324-5301. Go to the website also if you'd like. I will put you in touch with Cornelius Wilson Brown. You guys can have a conversation and decide, what you want to do or not do, and that's where it ends. As far as money, because let's face
Mhm.
it, money is why we do this. Is part of it. It
Correct.
takes money also. So is it fair to say that for about $500 a month
Hmm.
for a little while that you can join the program, give or take? Everybody's has different circumstances. I don't know all the details, you do, but
Right.
what order of what bracket would you give to people in the programs that you offer?
Yeah. And
What's
see,
the
and I
max?
think, and I'm glad you asked that, Eric, because I think a lot of times when people can't really deliver what they're talking about, they hide the price, right?
Right.
They can't really deliver, and they want to get you to the point where you are so engrossed in what they're saying that the money doesn't matter, but the money does matter. And so
We know
my
it does.
my job is to make sure that whatever you pay me, you make 100 times over that. And so our program is a program. Of course, it's a full school. You have classes, you have software, you have a learning management system, you have a live trade room. There's a place where you can ask questions every single day, which means there are costs involved. It's a business, and I wouldn't want to be a part of anything that's not a business. So that's what that is. So for you can pay a down payment of $5,000 and then pay like $500 per month, to get this access, and the money that you'll make, will trump that money any day. So that's what we do. So that's how it works. Some people, so the total price is $12,500. Some people, many people, just pay $10,000 one time and they're just through with it. Hey, listen, I want to concentrate on trading, and if I can make $1 million in a year, I'll give you this $10,000 so I can get that off of my mind and I can focus on exactly what you're saying and what you're teaching, because this is what I want to do. Again, people who want to do this, Eric, are people who have a wealth mindset. And people who have a wealth mindset are different, and they think differently than people who have a poverty mindset. A
Mhm.
person who has a poverty mindset, they know how much everything costs, but they don't know how much anything is worth. Let me say that again. A person with a poverty mindset, they know the price of everything, but they don't know the worth of anything. A person who has a wealth mindset, they don't know the price of anything, but they know the worth of everything. They don't care about the price. They care about, can this solve my problem? My problem is cash flow. So I talk to a lot of people who have millions of dollars in assets, but they don't have cash flow. What I do solves the cash flow problem.
Mhm.
So if you have a cash flow problem, you have more month than you have money. You have more things that you need to buy. You don't have money for it. You have a cash flow problem. You
That's
know,
right.
if you're having 2 jobs and 3 jobs, you have a cash flow problem because you're not working the second and the third and the fourth job because you love your employer. You're working it because you have a problem. What I like to say boldly and without recompense, that I can solve the cash flow problem. So that's how much the solution is for your cash flow problem. Is either 12,500, 5 grand right now, 500 a month until you finish paying it off, or 10 at one time and you're done. And then every year you'll pay a $500 annual fee. But that's about it.
Very good. Thank you for the clarification. And obviously, anybody who wants to be in touch with you, come through me, and I'll make sure I put the two of you together, and you can talk about it in all the details that you wish.
Matter
Um,
of fact, we even break up. I just say this detail
yeah,
too to save people from wasting your time. That $5,000, we can break that up into two payments as well over a 45-day period. So you don't even have to have that, you know. And then sometimes, as I talk to people, we can come up with another payment arrangement. So the bottom line is if this is for you and you want to do it, we'll make it happen for you.
great. That's good to hear. So there's flexibility.
Oh, absolutely,
As long
absolutely.
as there's resonance, there is a way
Oh,
to.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Very good. Very good. Just to be clear, not to dilute anything that you have said, because you and I both know that it is something real that is possible, but you're not promising anyone to make 1 million a year. The potential exists for that, and we know that by following the process, it's a matter of fact. It's something that's going to happen. But obviously, the variable is each one of us. We're all accountable and responsible for ourselves. So it could not be made a promise. It is the potential that exists, as far as people being willing to be accountable and following the process through. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I believe that's why the United States government has those laws and those disclaimers that you have to put out there because I can't control what another person does.
Of course, of course.
But what I do is I give guidance and leadership, inspiration and motivation on a daily basis that if you follow, there's no way that you won't get the same results that I'm getting. Again, I'm not preparing food somewhere behind a curtain and coming out and giving it to you. No, I'm cooking the food right in front of you. I am eating the same food that I'm serving you. And so the market is just like God, no respect of persons. That market will not work for me and not work for you. It will not work for me and not work for you. Oh yeah, well, standard deviations, work for Cornelius Brown, but they won't work for Johnny. That's not true. That's just not that's not true.
Of course.
So yeah, so it'll work for anybody.
Very good. Cornelius, we've been going on for an hour. I want to be respectful of your time as
Man, I
well.
always love talking to you, and I mean,
And so
that
do I.
hour went by so fast.
I know we could just go on for another hour, but we
Yeah,
may lose more people. So we'll keep it short and sweet. And if you have some availabilities in the future, we'd love to have you back. And
absolutely.
is
Anytime.
there a last comment you would like to make, or last little something you'd like to share with us?
Well, it cost to be a part of this program $12,500, but not being a part of this program cost whatever you're making now, $1 million minus whatever you're making now. So if you make $100,000 a year and you choose not to be in this program, it's going to cost you 900,000.
That gives room for pause, and that's definitely something to consider, because we know it's real.
Every decision has a price.
That's right. There's a sacrifice
To
in it.
do has a price, and not to do has a price.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. Well, on that note, Cornelius, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your wisdom, for what you do day in and day out. And I know this is your mission. That is something I sensed the first time you said it. We only spoke once, but I knew that. And that's what drove me to actually join the program, become
Yeah.
part of it. And I'm loving every minute of it. So thank you so much. So for all of you out there, either live or on replay, thank you for joining also. Stay clear, stay sovereign, and give yourself an opportunity. So until next time, we'll see you on the Sovereign Edge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cornelius. Bye bye.
You're welcome.